So another couple of interesting stories here as we dive further and further and further into authoritarianism. Two things I want to cover here real quick. First one is going to be about Hegseth not committing to obeying court orders regarding the Marines in Los Angeles, and then we will also talk about a few back and forths with Hegseth and some Congress people over the Pentagon's plans to invade Greenland, an ally of ours. They are, I believe, they're a territory of Denmark, a NATO ally. So insane. Insane. And just side rant. Like, it's all about, like, security, security. We needed to secure the oceans. You know, if you were just a diplomatic person for once, you could easily sign security pacts and probably build as many damn U.S. military bases around that area as you want if you weren't threatening to invade them every other day. Anyways, I digress. Let's get into the articles. So first one from Politico. Hegseth won't commit to obeying court orders on Marines in Los Angeles. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Thursday that he would obey a Supreme Court order to remove troops from Los Angeles, but declined to show similar deference to other courts considering the issue. The Pentagon chief initially deflected when asked at a House Armed Services Committee hearing whether he would abide by a court's decision if it determined President Donald Trump's deployment of National Guards and Marines was lawful. What I can say is we should not have local judges determining foreign policy or national security policy for the country. This is just their default talking point. Like, okay, for one, this isn't foreign policy at all. This is U.S. citizens we're talking about here that you're deploying the fucking Marines against. There's a story popping up that I actually haven't heard before. It's like, I think during some other things, some years ago, Marines were working with the local law enforcement, and the local law enforcement was like, hey, cover my six. And then the Marines just open up on a building. Like, these people, all due respect to the Marines, these people are not meant for civil operations. Like, this is in the Constitution. But these people don't care about the Constitution at all. Where was I? Okay, yeah, local judges, and that's just a thing. And quick update, I did just see a story that a federal judge, did block the use of, I don't know if it was the Marines or the National Guard or both, but regardless, it has been blocked for use in LA, so we will see how that plays out. But the secretary later clarified that he would obey a decision from the high court. We're not here to defy a Supreme Court ruling, he said. Yes, because you guys have been real good at following Supreme Court orders in the past. I mean, it took you how many months to finally begrudgingly bring home Albrego Garcia? Insane. The comments mirror other officials who have criticized court rulings that go against the Trump administration, often directing withering criticism at lower court judges while vowing deference to the justices. Trump has ordered the Pentagon to deploy 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines to Los Angeles to protect immigration and custom enforcement personnel in response to mass deportation protests. California Governor Gavin Newsom, who had said the troops are not necessary, is suing to remove them. And I assume that's where the ruling came that I just touched on. The Trump administration, in a filing Wednesday, urged a federal judge to reject the lawsuit, calling it a crass political stunt. Jesus. And it's funny that, like, they feel the need to protect these ICE Gestapo thugs when they're, like, themselves are already armed to the teeth. Same with the LAPD and any police department around the country. People are looking at the situation in LA, and they're looking at all the police, the feds, the military, and they're like, honestly, even people on the ground in the crowd are like, I can't tell who's who. All of these people are in fucking camo carrying, like, assault rifles. Like, who is who? Insane. The issue marked a flashpoint during the third budget hearing this week for Hegseth and Joint Chiefs Chair General Dan Kane, which ranged from Ukraine aid to Hegseth's efforts to rule out diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the department. Representative Ro Khanna of California repeatedly pressed Hegseth on whether he would follow a court ruling. You're not willing to say you would respect those decisions, Khanna said. Hegseth replied, what I'm saying is local district judges shouldn't make foreign policy. We're talking about domestic matters here, and whether you like it or not, as our rule of law and our Constitution is set up right now, you do have to obey these federal judges, whether you like it or not. You don't have to like their decision, but you have to follow it. And you got a problem, you can take it to the Supreme Court. Newsom reposted a video of the exchange on social media platform X. This is not normal, he said. If Breyer sides with Newsom, the administration would likely appeal any order to limit the deployment to a California appeals court and then the Supreme Court. The defense secretary, in a separate congressional testimony on Wednesday, suggested the administration could deploy troops elsewhere to assist in roundups and deportations. At the hearing, he wasn't able to immediately cite the legal justification for the deployments. I wonder why. It's almost like this is wildly illegal and unconstitutional, but we're way past caring about the Constitution and rule of law at this point. It's only their rule of law and what they perceive as the law, which is whatever the hell they want to do. And then Hegseth says the Pentagon has contingency plans to invade Greenland if necessary. Okay. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth appeared to acknowledge that the Pentagon has developed plans to take over Greenland and Panama by force if necessary, but refused to answer repeated questions at a hotly combative congressional hearing Thursday about his use of signal chats to discuss military operations. Democratic members of the House Armed Service Committee repeatedly got into heated exchanges with Hegseth, with some of the toughest lines of questioning coming from military veterans, as many demanded yes or no answers, and he tried to avoid direct responses about his actions as Pentagon chief. In one back and forth, Hegseth did provide an eyebrow-raising answer. Representative Adam Smith from Washington asked whether the Pentagon has developed plans to take Greenland or Panama by force if necessary. Our job at the Defense Department is to have plans for any contingency, Hegseth said several times. It is not unusual for the Pentagon to draw up contingency plans for God, I'm talking like Pete Hegseth, like I just downed a fucking bottle of whiskey. Holy shit. Let me restart. It is not unusual for the Pentagon to draw up contingency plans for conflicts that have not arisen, but his handling of the questions prompted a Republican lawmaker to step in a few minutes later. It is not your testimony today that there are plans at the Pentagon for taking by force or invading Greenland, correct? Representative Mike Turner, Republican from Ohio, asked. As Hegseth started to repeat his answer about contingency plans, Turner added empathetically, I sure as hell hope that is not your testimony. We look forward to working with Greenland to ensure that it is secured from any potential threats. The only potential threat to Greenland right now is the United States of America. Oh my goodness. Time and time again, lawmakers pressed Hegseth to answer questions he has avoided for months, including during the 2 previous days of hearings on Capitol Hill, and frustrations boiled over. You're an embarrassment to this country. You're unfit to lead. Representative Salud Carbajal snapped the California Democrats' voice, rising. You should just get the hell out. Oh my God. GOP lawmakers on several occasions apologized to Hegseth for the Democrats' sharp remarks, saying he should not be subject to such flagrant disrespect. Hegseth said he was happy to take the arrows to make tough calls and do what's best. Okay, yes, it is absolutely true that the Pentagon does draw up a multitude of plans for invading countries or defending against countries. There was one that came up, I can't remember when it was, like plans to invade Canada sometime in like the 1900s. I think it's sometime either right before World War II or after World War II. I can't remember. But it's just a little weird how he's just so skittish about this and can't give a direct answer, because they absolutely do have in the back of their minds that like they do want to invade and take Greenland, and that is concerning. They have repeatedly, time and time again, said that they will not rule out military force for Greenland or the Panama Canal or even Canada for that matter. So, wow. And two, oh my God, anyone who has any hope that Republicans in Congress are going to eventually stand up and realize that this is an authoritarian takeover, that's never, ever going to happen. Trump could come out and wave a Nazi flag tomorrow, and 95% of Republicans in Congress would not care. They just wouldn't. You know why? Because all of Trump's agenda, all of the worst parts of it, every single one of them, they support. And they wish they could have done sooner. They just never had the backbone to, because to some extent they played by the rules, and expectations, you know, that is supposed to be this country. They at least tried to play it a little bit. No, they never were as, you know, playing it like the Democrats do. The Democrats are afraid to do anything. But at the end of the day, these Republicans, no matter what Trump does, they're not going to stop him. The only way to stop Trump is to get these assholes out of office, because they are not going to stand up to him, because at the very end of the day, they agree with Donald Trump and pretty much everything he is doing. Yeah, it's just dark. We need to stop threatening these court orders and just do them. And we need to stop issuing these threats against like Hegseth and like Trump, like high-level Trump admin officials themselves, because that is likely never going to go anywhere. We should be, on the other hand, issuing court orders and threats to the generals, the commanding officers, down to the individual troops. They took an oath to the Constitution, and if they carry out unlawful orders, they should absolutely be arrested. Send the police in, send the marshals in, arrest them. Like, stop tiptoeing around this shit and be effective, or else they're just going to keep getting away with all of this. Like, arrest these people who are carrying out these unlawful orders. You might as well give up on going after the people who are giving the unlawful orders. You need to go after the people who are carrying them out, the people who took an oath to not carry out such orders. Like, what are we scared of? I mean, I know it is scary. You scared that the marshals or the police are going to go in to arrest some general or CEO, and they're going to, you know, respond in force and shoot at the police? Is that a possibility? Absolutely. But at this point, what the hell are we supposed to do? Were we supposed to just sit back and watch them use the military against their own citizens? Use it to invade our allies like Greenland or Canada? Like, I understand the prospect is scary, and a lot of these courts are using clever wording and just giving just enough room for in most cases, for the administration to sidestep the rulings, but at the same time be like, yeah, we're kind of following, like the whole, you need to facilitate Alberto Garcia's return. Enough. I understand it's scary, but what else are we supposed to do? Sit back and watch? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.